to another episode of Anékdota. I am Angeles and this is Aida.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about, Aida, do you want to share with us what are we going to be talking about?
Sure. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Thanks again for joining us in another episode of Anékdota. And yes, today we have a very dark topic. Not dark, but today we're going to talk about unveiling our shadows and the power of awareness. So where do you want to begin, Angeles? How do you want to go about on this topic?
You want to interview me today about it?
Yeah, are you ready for your interview? For your weekly interview?
This is really funny because I feel like sometimes it turns out like that because I go on and on and on. Um, but yeah, I think this was okay. So the reason why we're sharing about this topic is because I got a comment from someone, uh, and it made me think about the shadows or the dark side of us, right? And how sometimes we're so unconsciously careful about the image that we are projecting into others. And unconsciously, we sometimes project this version, only one version of us, right? But in reality, we do have, I think, and I believe personally, that we have different personalities, there's different Angeluses in different spaces, right? So the workspace, at home, with our families, with our friends, and things like that. And this week, I was talking about my dark side, about this Angelus that comes out or emerges when things don't go the way I expect them to go or I want them to go. Um, and I was just sharing with this person, this other Angelus, and he was like, wow, like I don't see this Angelus that you're talking about. I don't see how this could be you. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, am I projecting something that I'm not? And am I not being authentic? Am I not being truth to myself, or honest with myself? Am I actually making sure that I don't burst this person's bubble about me? You know?
Or this
Um,
image that this person has.
Right, this image exactly that this person has created of me, and I was just kind of like, no, 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 like this is also me, and it's important to recognize it. But I think more importantly is that I am aware of when does that other Angeles comes out, right? In what situations, in what aspect, what has to be going on in my life that this angel is that
That
it is.
kind of pokes that other Angelus, that other side to like
Yeah,
speak out.
the little monster comes out. But yeah, like I was just like, oh my gosh, like let me kind of dig in and figure it out, when does it come out? When does this other version of me comes out? I think that's,
Okay. I-
that was my introspection.
That was her. Yeah. Interesting. It's very interesting. A couple of words popped up on what you were sharing right now. One, personalities, and two, version.
Mhm.
And I personally think that it's not about showing different personalities. It's more that, I mean, we carry ourselves differently in different situations. And it's, I don't know, it's about the other person perceiving that essence or something. I don't even know. I don't know how to put it. Like,
Right, depending on the situation, that's the personality that comes out, but it's not, I think, intentionally like that. It's just the way our human psyche works, right? That's how I.
no, well, no, I don't see. The thing is that I don't think it's a personality thing. Like I don't consider it, I don't see it as different personalities. I just see it as part of my personality.
Mm,
You see what
okay.
I mean? And it's the same, like, it's my
So,
essence.
so different
And
aspects of the personality.
exactly, exactly. That's how I see it. Because yeah, I okay, this is what you see, right? But you're seeing me through a podcast, through an episode. We're not interacting on a daily basis. So of course, it's not that I'm putting on this costume and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm showing because this is what I want to portray. This is just the filter that we have right now,
Right.
right? And I'm not pretending to be someone else. It's not a different personality that's coming out. It's just this essence of my personality that I'm sharing at the moment. But it's part of one essence, my full essence, which includes, good things and bad things. Because I mean, I personally believe that we are both, right?
Yes, we are.
And but it's important to be aware of both of them so that we're not confused about, well, am I a bad person or am I a good person? Because that's when we start polarizing ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah.
When
Yeah,
in
that's what I'm saying. I think it's important to identify when does the dark side of Angeles comes out, right? Or when does the dark side of Aida comes out? What are those external circumstances that are, you
that
know,
triggers us.
yes, that triggers us to um have this authoritative angelist come out, or this I don't know, this other parts of me that I don't like them to come out, but if I need them to, they will. You know, for example, and
If
I was
you need them to, that's interesting.
yes. So for example, I share with you that last week, my son came home with. He went to go visit his father, and he came home with certain pants that he knows. Like we had talked about this before, and he knows that he wasn't supposed to buy those kind of pants. Um, there's, things that I teach them, and that if you cross that limit, there's going to be consequences. Then this authoritative mother is going to come out and is just going to um, make you at a certain point, like either you get back in track, or things are gonna go very wrong. Because I do have my limits as a mother, like, and I am the only authority that they see. So I have to be very clear on what are my limits. So you cross that limit, there's going to be consequences. And now
So
you're
more
not gonna
than I'm sorry, so more than personalities, I think it lies on roles. Like I mean, right now I need to play my mom role and go full force on it.
get. Yes. Yes. And then like that was just like a trigger to other things. Then I was like, okay, so if he thought that was okay, then what else does he thinks is okay? And then I start digging more, throughout the week, like questioning him, asking, looking at his phone and doing things, because now I'm like, okay, if you were willing to cross this limit, what other limits do you want to cross that apparently I'm not aware of them, or you think I'm not gonna say anything or do anything, but that you're crossing. So let me see. And that's when I just started the whole week, starting being on top of him. But that's because, like I've told them before, you cross that limit, that's it. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to go back to being this cool mom and understanding mom and all these things. But I think it's very important that he knows, okay, there is a huge consequence, which is I'm going to get my phone taken away. I'm gonna lose my privileges to go play soccer every day with my friends. You know, I'm gonna not, I'm gonna have to now show what I'm doing every day instead of my mom just trusting me on what I'm doing.
Okay, so now let me ask you something that I think it's interesting here. Why would you consider that side of Angela is the one that implements boundaries and establishes uh, these rules and things like that as a dark side or your shadow side?
Because when that other side comes out, I am I have a very short temper. I have no patience. So it doesn't come out nicely. I'm not one of
Okay.
those moms that sits down and says, "Look, honey, this was wrong and all this thing." No, no.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Like, it's not about establishing limits, I mean, boundaries and things like that. It's more about the message delivery.
Yes.
That's what you're seeing as the dark side or the
Yes.
your
Because
shadow side.
then I don't speak calm and relax and try to understand. Now I'm kind of like pushing and attacking, and it's like, and I get really frustrated because I'm like, what part of me is not delivering the message correctly that he doesn't understand that there's limits? And that frustrates me, and it just gets me really, really upset. And like the way I deliver the message is like screaming and like saying things, and I'm working on it, right? I'm working with my therapist about it. You know, but I feel even with my partners, like I am a very confident woman. Like I don't sit there and for someone to get me jealous, it's not gonna happen. Like I am completely okay with my partner flirting if he wants to flirt, as long as he doesn't go to the other step, because then we're done. Like I'm not even gonna argue about it. Like we would just be done. Um, but if he wants to flirt, go ahead. But you're not gonna get a reaction out of me because I know how much I'm worth. I'm a very confident woman. Like I've always had that. So when someone wants to challenge me, because I've had partners who are like, wow, like you are way too confident. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
Like
And
that doesn't trigger you, but let me try this other thing and see.
yes. So once they're starting to push my limits, then this bitchy Angelus comes out. And I just get to their face and I'm like, look, honey, you're the only one here losing because she's a whore and you're dumb for it. And I'm not. So, like, I know what I'm worth. Like, I'm very fucked up if I want to be with my partner. So, and I've had partners where they're like, so, like, this is not normal. Like, why are you that confident? And they want to push me to the limit. And once they push me to the limit, I just bring out the worst of me and I say the worst words. So I'm like, I don't like that Angelus to come out, but if it needs to come out, it will.
Okay.
And it doesn't come out nicely because then I make the other person feel stupid. Then I make the other person feel like they're not worth, because you want to play with my confidence. Let me play now with your confidence. You think you can flirt and do all these things? Okay, let's see how much you can handle. And then I start being really bitchy. And it's like, and I hate that other part of me because I don't feel that we need to push to those limits.
Mm-mm. Just
But
because others do it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to act upon it
exactly,
or replicate them. But the
exactly.
cool part is that you've made him aware. I mean,
Yes,
you're already aware of them, and it's like, okay, there's room for improvement here. And it's like, okay, so maybe I do need to work on this.
yeah, and I think that's the most important thing, right? That I am aware of when this other Angelus is coming out, this dark side of Angeles is coming out. And I'm aware of it now, and now I can say, okay, like I don't want to get to that, and I try to control myself. I try to be very patient nowadays. Like for example, with my son, I this whole last year, I try to be very patient and very understanding and give the benefit of the doubt to certain of his classmates and things like that. But there gets to a point where I'm like, okay, this is it. You crossed the line now. And now you're gonna see the other Angeles. And I don't like I just don't like the way I show up once things are like
Okay.
really
And
bad.
all that has, I mean, that has to do with, I think, it has to do with the way we were raised, all the beliefs that we have, what pushed us to create that. Mm,
Little
huh?
monster, a little monster with it.
Something like that. No, no, no. Yeah, but I mean, what has conditioned us to
Mm.
react like that? 'Cause that's a reaction,
Yes, that is a reaction because I'm not being conscious about it.
and I think by us identifying the root,
Hmm.
then we can start working on it. Okay, when was the first time that I felt like this? When did I feel the need to react like this and just hurt the other and just being like fool, 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 instead of like, okay, wait, who did this to me? Like, where did I pick this up from? Or who did I pick this up from? You know,
Hmm.
uh, and once we are aware of those little things, then I feel like we can actually switch those
Right,
little things that we don't like about ourselves.
right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely me becoming aware of them. Sometimes I am able to tell my children, "Hey, you're crossing, you're getting close to that line," and they know, and they're just like, "Okay," like they'll reflect on what they're doing or how they're saying things or what decisions they're making. Um, but then there's other times where things just come out, and and I'm like, okay, I have to work on the way I say things when I'm pissed off already or when the situation, happens. Like, or even when someone wants to think that I am dumb, like, oh, let me just play dumb with her and just whatever. For me, that's like a no no. Tell me things straight up.
Don't go
Don't
around the bush, don't sugarcoat it, don't be like, no,
say
just
it.
say it already.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the same thing that I have always talked to my children about that as well. Like I've said, especially right now, my daughter, she's 17 years old, and I'm like, well, she's turning 17. And I'm like, look, if you want to have sex, if you want to start having sex and experiencing that, that's fine with me. But tell me. Tell me so I can tell you how to protect yourself, and we've talked about all the things that can happen, but I don't know, like probably also mentally preparing her for that first time, or things like that that I would have liked my mother to do with me, um, or to have done, I should say, with me back when I was 17. And I'm a very cool and open mom, and she knows that she can come to me, but don't lie to me. Don't tell me, oh no, I'm not ready, and then go do it, and then come back and tell me, I don't know what I did. Like, no, just tell me straight up. I'm gonna be okay. That's something natural. That's something all humans do, and it's something you're gonna go through, and that's fine. And I can tell you what to expect, but don't go do it and then come back and say, I don't know what I did. Like, well, you should have talked to me about it first. Um, so those are the kind of things that I'm very like I just want them to say it instead of just going around the bush and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, we've talked about anger as an example of shadow, but there's other things that
Oh yeah.
could be considered a shadow. And one of them, I think, like in my case, would be like sadness or depression or, things like that. That's part of my shadow too.
Hmm.
And, like I tend to get depressed. But I mean, just being aware of it, now I can identify it easier. It's like, okay, I have the tendency to, you know, fall, just go deep into that rabbit hole. And as soon as I catch myself, I'm like, okay, wait, no,
Hmm. Hmm.
where is this same thing. I mean, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling like this? Start working on myself so that I don't actually allow myself to go like way down. So that's another part of our shadow that a lot of times we don't talk about. We stay just focused on the bad thing. You see
Right.
what I mean?
So as I mentioned, we want to just unconsciously, not we want to, but unconsciously, we're wanting to project this image that I'm okay, everything is fine. I'm Miss Perfect or whatever, And the reality is that there is to, that in order for the light to come out, there has to be also moments of darkness, because how can we become aware of the light if there's no darkness?
Exactly.
And that's one of the this week I posted that video, like as much as we are light, we are also dark. So it's
One
okay,
of the things,
right? And it's okay for them to both to show up at different times, But for me, it was my questioning in that moment was like, okay, for me, it's more important to become aware of when that dark side of Angeles is coming out. Become aware. What is the trigger? What is it? And what can I do to better myself or to kind of work with this darkness in a better way when it comes out, like
check
becoming more
yourself before you wreck yourself.
like just be more conscious about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I think that for me that was one of the things that I learned this week, like learn how to say things better when you're mad.
And over emotions too. Like if we're already feeling something boiling up right here, it's like, okay, dee, 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 dee. Okay, let me step away for a second. I'll be right back. We can continue this conversation some other day. And, I'm
Yes.
calm and I can actually talk
Yes.
about it without getting so like, or emotional, like in my case, being emotional about it and just like saying, okay, well, now it's not the time. Give me some space. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
But
that's
truly taking the time to embrace that shadow. What is it showing us? What is it showing us about ourselves? What is it showing us about the situation? And not like the way I like to share it. It's like, okay, what is this shadow showing me? What light, what lighter side of me is it trying to show me?
I think every shadow reflects something we still need to work on. For
Well,
example,
that, and if we, that's the part that we identify, opportunity to work on something, right? But it's also
mhm.
showing us something else. Like, okay, if I am feeling this frustrated or if I'm feeling this sad, guess what? I can feel I'm allowing myself to actually feel and experience this moment. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm super sad, I'm this, that's that, that. You know what? I can feel it. That's what that shadow is showing me. Like the first instance.
Yeah.
And also, giving us an opportunity. Okay, well, there's something here for me to work on.
Mhm.
But that's the first thing I am grateful for, is like, okay, thank you for showing me my ability
Yeah.
to feel and how much I can experience things. And I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of people realize that it's also a blessing.
Yeah, it is. It is. For me, this week has been like very reflecting, like, wow, when does it come? Let me dig more. Oh, I need to work on my patience. This is what I need to work on. um,
Patience, patience, patience.
yeah, patience when I'm mad because I tend to be patient to a certain point. Um,
To a certain extent.
but then when I'm mad, it's like I have no patience when I'm upset. So I need to learn how to work on that more, like, and not let that emotion take over, that anger take over. It's like, no, like I am in control. Like, yes, I am upset. I am super angry. I'm super frustrated, but let me just
And also
calm
seeing
down.
it as, like, if we focus on the gratitude part that I was mentioning, and here's the invite, an early invite to our viewers, to like perhaps make a list of all the shadows, quote unquote, that we can perceive in ourselves.
Mhm.
Then do another list of, like, just saying, okay, because of this shadow, I am this. This is bringing this to light, or is making my light brighter on this specific aspect of myself. And I think that exercise would help us embrace our shadows a lot better. You see what I mean?
Give me an example.
Like, for example, like, okay, what I said, I feel angry, I feel frustrated right now. Well, because of that anger and that frustration, it allowed me to realize that I can feel, or it gave me the opportunity to go deeper within myself and figure out what was that thing that fucked me up, that made me react to certain things uh in certain situations, like in a
Mm,
certain way. I'm sorry.
okay. So,
Identifying the light, because to every shadow there's a light.
right.
But if we only focus on the shadow, then we're not seeing the full picture.
Oh, I see, like the exercise that you told me, that you share with me when I share with you my shadows, and you were like, "Well, what's the light of this?" And I was like, "Okay, well, the light of being super strict with my kids and having my limits very clear, if you want to say it like that, like being super strict, which I don't think I'm super strict. I just have limits and I make sure they don't cross those limits. But if they ever do, there's consequences. How does this have helped me? How does this shadow has helped me that, when this super strict angelist comes out,
Mm-hmm.
what good has come out of this? Well, that my kids, they're, for the most part, they're good kids. Like, I really can't say much. They do push the limits once in a while,
For the
once
most part. They
a year.
are good kids. They're good
They
kids.
are. Yeah, they are. So, but when they cross it, they're like, oh, I should have never crossed that line. Like, let me go back to how I was. Um, and the light is the truth, that they are good kids. They tend to be very respectful and educated kids, and um, they're they're starting to become more aware. Because one of the other things that I also share with them, for example, today, it was like, what has been the consequences of that decision that you made of crossing the limit? Oh, well, the consequences is that I got my phone taken away, that I can't go play soccer with my friends until I don't know when. you know, then now I have to show, like, now it's not, my word is not enough. Now I have to show you um, what I'm actually doing and things like that. And I was like, okay, was that a good consequence or a bad consequence? And they're like, oh, that's a bad consequence. Okay, well, now you know the consequences if you cross the limits. So it makes them reflect and be like, okay, let me not cross those limits again. So they become more conscious and aware of how far they can get.
Mm-hmm.
And not just with me, like I told them,
In
I am,
life.
yeah, I am only the beginning. And if you can't start good from here, from home, then the rest of the life, your life is going to be full of either good or bad consequences.
Exactly.
So it's up to you. I always tell them it's up to you. What kind of consequence do you want to have in your life? Um, so I think also, uh, uh, besides me getting upset and screaming and all these things, then I later, once I have calmed down, once I have put my thoughts together in a
And
more
yourself
peace
together.
myself together, then I go ahead and talk to them and explain them. Because I also feel that's very important, at least for the kids, like having an explanation of why all of these consequences are happening and have them reflect on them and
Right.
become aware, of their decisions. Because as I've always said to them, every decision comes with a consequence, and it's up to you if it's going to be a good consequence or a bad consequence. So,
Yep. That's I think that's a great way to evaluate our shadows and our light. No, but I think that's a great exercise that you shared with them because it's also showing, you're teaching them about embracing that no, not embracing, but more like being aware of their
mhm,
shadows and their dark side too. It's like, okay, why am I disobeying, per se? It's like, what triggers me
right.
not to follow, what I've been taught. I mean, do I not agree with it? I mean, and so they can start creating their own criterion too.
Mhm. Yes,
And that's also part of our shadow and our light.
definitely. When do you think that dark side of us starts emerging or creating?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about it like that. Like if we're born with it or if it's something that we're
Or if there
creating along the way.
Right, or if there was certain experiences in life that build that dark side and it comes out as because for example for me it's like when I'm feeling fearful that my children are gonna wrong go the wrong path or the wrong yeah, when I'm feeling fearful that my children are gonna go towards the wrong path, is that this that this this fear is what triggers that. And it's like, when did I start building that fear for my kids to go the wrong way?
So maybe it's not anger, it's fear.
Yeah.
So remember how like in Código de Magia we see the quadrants?
Hmm.
Is it the quadrants that, if this, then it's fear. If this is the anger, if this is da da da. I think it has to do with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I analyzed myself and I was like, I questioned myself all these things and I was like, when does this authoritative mom comes out? When I am fearful that they're going to go towards the wrong path, that they're making unconscious decisions. And is taking them the wrong way.
And where does that fear come from? Insecurity as far as that you didn't teach them well, or of the outcome that they will have, like that they won't turn out the way that you'd like them to.
I think it's more fear of them suffering as adults, like for making the wrong decisions. So I don't want them. I mean, of course, we all suffer as human beings, you know, like there's always going to be something um that is gonna make us suffer. But at least I want to make sure that even though they are suffering, they're suffering being conscious of, okay, I understand what I created. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, for them to actually like start being aware
Yes, like I
that
want to be aware, like okay, am I making the good decision? And of course, there's so many decisions we take every day, you know, and sometimes we even take, most of the time we take unconscious decisions. But but I think the more aware we are of ourselves, the more conscious we can be when making a decision, like I already know myself, so let me not do this because I know it's gonna create whatever, you know?
exactly. I will put myself into this kind of situations because I know it can trigger me. It can trigger that side of me that it's not very pleasant to be around, including for myself.
Correct.
So,
Correct. For example, for me, it's like being free, having the freedom to manage my own time. So now I'm like, I don't see myself going back to a job, 9 to 5, because I know how I'm going to feel, you know? And it's just like, it's not gonna, I'm gonna feel stressed. I'm gonna feel like I'm not being present with my children. I'm gonna, like, all of these things are gonna start happening. All of these emotions are gonna start emerging. And then I'm just not going to give my 100%, or I'm gonna be mad at it, or, you know, so.
at yourself, I think,
Mhm,
more
mhm.
than anything, like,
So then I'm like, okay, so what kind of decisions do I need to make sure that I continue to have my freedom of time? Freedom of time to spend it with my children when I want to spend it in my company whenever I want to spend time with the podcasts, you know, and the other things that I'm creating. So I'm so aware of what I need and what I want that now I know the kind of decisions that I need to make.
yep. And how do you identify your shadows? Or how have you been identifying your shadows or your direct side or sides?
Well,
Do you just tackle them as they come along, or do you actually sit down and do an exercise like, okay, let me see, what do I truly consider my this, I mean, a
well,
shadow?
this last week I did the exercise because I was like, wait a sec. Am I fooling myself? Am I giving this impression that I don't want to be? Because for me, authenticity is very important. Um, Being truly who I am, and I don't want anybody to create a false image of me because it's like when you marry someone and then you get a divorce and then you're just like, wait a minute, I didn't even know this person was like that. I think that's like one of the worst things that can happen. And I think it's better to just be who you truly are all the time.
Oh yeah.
So this week I did went into that exercise from that person's comment. I was just like, okay, let me check on myself. When does my shadow comes out? And why are other people not seeing it? And I'm like, okay, well, they're not seeing it because they're not, you know,
Triggering me to bring that
right,
out. They're not
right,
bringing that out in me.
right. Yeah.
So it's
But
not like we're playing a part or pretending to be someone else. It's just like the situation hasn't arisen,
I,
for that side to come out, and hopefully it never will. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, yeah. I mean, I do feel like there's some people that do actually fake being someone that they're not or pretend to be someone they're not. But I sometimes like some people don't need to see every facet if it doesn't come to play, if it doesn't make any sense to bring it out,
right. Yeah, and one of the things that I even talked to my friend was like validating, not validating, but telling me the truth. Am I really like this at work? Because I work with her, and I was like, tell me how you feel when I'm at work. Am I really like this? And she was like, yeah, you're very true to who you are. You're not scared to show all of these different aspects of Angelus. Of course, she's like, what I've seen for the most part is the nice, sweet Angelus. But she was like, I know how Angelus can get too if things don't get done at work.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, but you don't you don't get like this the way you're describing yourself in this statement. You don't get like this until you have seen it repeatedly, like one or two or three times, and then you're just like, okay, never mind. Like this is not getting anywhere. Let me do it myself, or let me get this person out of my team, or let me like you give the person the benefit of the doubt. You just kind of, you know, oh, it's the first time, let it go. It's the second time you ask the person if they're okay, if there's something going on. There's the third time, and you're just kind of like, what's happening? And if they have no valid reason to not get the work done, then you start acting like, get this person out of my team. So there has to be a certain amount of events for this to happen.
Right, to trigger that side of
Yes,
you. Right.
yes,
But I think it
yes.
has to, it, I wouldn't consider it a dark side or a shadow side if, I think, I mean, I go back to the same thing. Like, I think it goes back to the delivery, the message delivery,
Yeah, I think that's the
in
dark
order for
side.
you,
Maybe the
for
dark
you,
side.
the delivery would be the dark side, not speaking up and not saying like, you know, okay, this hasn't been done.
Right. Hmm.
The dark side would be like how you're saying it
Right. Yes.
and the emotion, like where's it coming from?
Hmm. Yeah,
Is
there is from
it
like,
anger,
oh,
frustration, and how am I delivering it? That would be the dark side. Not establishing boundaries, not enforcing boundaries, but actually how am I enforcing those boundaries?
right. Yeah, I do tend to be very flexible, also with the kids. Like I am a very flexible person for the most part. But once I already told you I expect something and it's not getting done more than three times, like I told you this and you just don't care, or you just think it's okay, or when people underestimate me a lot. I've realized um in positions or in relationships. They're just like, oh, she's so sweet. She's not gonna do it. And it's like, mm. don't think I'm that sweet. Like, let me, I can, I can handle a lot. I can, but once you cross the line and the way the message gets delivered, it's just bad, bad. So don't
So
do
what are
it.
you doing about it? Yeah, so if you want to share what you're doing about it, that'd be awesome, I think, because I think it would help our listeners.
I've taught, well, I first of all, the one of the things that has helped me a lot is meditating. Is meditating when I'm already aware that this person is crossing the limit, that is about to cross a limit. I do a lot of introspection. I try to calm myself down and say, okay, what is another way I can deliver this message without being, um, without hurting the other person. Um, but I still lack at delivering the message correctly. I feel like, especially when it comes with my family members, because that's where I'm more comfortable.
With exactly.
And it's just like you already know me. Like, why are you crossing this limit? And that's when it comes out really bad. With other people, especially for example at work or here with you guys, I'm more flexible and I'm more like, or one of the things that I realized, I step out. I'm like, okay, I'm out of this project. I'm done. Like, I don't have time for this.
And before it
I
gets any uglier, I just
Yes.
leave
Yes.
for the
In
time.
the moment that I do feel disrespected, if that person is not important to me, I would just leave. If that person is important to me, I would tell that person that they fucked up and leave. But nowadays it's like I don't waste my time and energy on things that, or on people. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad, but I've talked to my therapist about this a lot too, where I'm like, I just don't want
You're like, but I'm working on it, I promise.
to. I am working on it. Heather can say it. I am working on it because I don't like to lose control of myself. Like control of myself meaning like hurting someone else with my words because I that's what I do. I hurt people with my words. And I don't want to do that anymore. But I'm aware that I still have to work on it.
Well, thanks for sharing and thanks for opening up because I think it's yeah, it's important, to for people to see their own darkness and not but see it with love. I'm going back to that like
Be shy to share, you know. I think I honestly enjoy sharing it because it makes me more aware. And I feel that if it's helping me, it might be helping someone else, you know? Like, because like I said, sometimes we create an image of someone thinking this person is so perfect, I need to be like this person, or I want to accomplish to become like this person. And it's like we all have a positive and a negative side. We all have light and dark. We all are humans, and it's part of being a human, learning how to handle all of this. Like, I'm not here to be a role model to nobody, because I still have a lot to work on myself. So I'm not interested on showing it a perfect image. I'm interested on sharing my ups and downs and either inspire you or, be like, oh shit, someone is like, also going through this.
going through someone else. I'm not the only one that just like blows up. Exactly. And I think that's important for people to actually understand that, nobody's perfect.
Oh,
Like I think we said it like on the intro episode or the first episode, we're like, we're not role models. And that's not our intention at all. We are a current, like a work in progress. And we're
Yeah.
always identifying our flaws. And I think the key word here is, or for me, is awareness, being aware of what I don't like, what I'm not happy with within
Mhm.
myself so that I can do something about it. But it's also as important to be aware of the things that I do like, that I am proud of, and actually embrace them so that I can hug them. And alongside with those things that I like about myself, help me work on the things that I don't like about myself.
Yeah. And I think nowadays, as we talked about it earlier, we're getting false information, a lot of false information of be positive, be all peace and love, and all this BS that now being a spiritual or being positive means just looking at the light. And
Fooling yourselves, exactly. And that's not what it's about. That's not what life is all about.
yeah, and
I don't
just
think so. I don't think
be who you are, be authentic, be real. And I have a lot of things to work on still, and I'm okay with them, because that's why I'm going to therapy, and that's why you know I'm doing the best I can with what I have right now. I always tell myself that I'm doing the best I can with what I have right now, and that's okay. And I'm growing, I'm learning, just
we
as it
all are.
happens.
Hmm.
So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't feel afraid or feel shy or feel like you're not enough or you're not doing enough. You're doing what you can. And it's okay to sometimes, blow up. And what can you do is part of becoming aware of the things you still need to work on. And it's part of just,
And see it as a opportunity, to actually work on it.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it because every time I'm in therapy and things like this happen or they show up, I'm like, oh, here we go, another 2 hours of introspection. Let me write
So
about it.
it's like, okay, we worked on this during therapy, but then I have this other thing that I need to work on the side, or this other things to work on the side, a side little projects.
Right, that's something that I want to invite everyone to do and encourage you to do it. Like sometimes we go to therapy and we feel like that is it. We're in therapy that hour and
Mhm.
that's it. And then you leave and you go off and live your life. I honestly, what has worked for me, and I share this in case it works for other people, after my therapy, I think about all the things that I talked with my therapist and I write everything down, everything that I think that, has to
That
do
you
with
got
what
out of it.
yes, yes. And even things that even popped up in my mind, but didn't say anything to him because we were, having the conversation, but and it just didn't come out. But I write it down. And I'm like, and then I send it to my therapist and I'm like, look, all of these things that I
We
thought
need
about.
to work on, please. Please add them to the list of of topics that we need to address in further therapy sessions.
And then it's probably like, okay, here we go. Another letter, another 4 pages of her review from therapy, which I'm okay, like I just,
Well,
I
that's
want,
the whole point. And I love that about you. That, and I think I told you this week. I mean, I love that you're so committed to actually work on yourself,
yeah.
because not a lot of people are. Not everyone is.
Well, that's one of the things that, with my personality, I'm super committed to whatever I put my mind into. I'm super committed. So I said, I'm going to heal. I'm going to heal, period. And so now, like, ever since I started therapy with him, at first I wasn't sharing with him all of these pages that I will write, but now I share them with him. He's probably like, okay, here we go. 4 pages,
This
six
is not
pages.
part of the therapy, but okay.
Um, but it's for me, it's kind of like it reflects, like, once I read it, I'm like, wow, all of this is in my mind when I'm talking to him. And there's a lot of things that I'm becoming aware that, oh, I still need to work on this. I still I'm
There's room
improving
for
on
growth
this.
over here, and
Yeah, or I'm improving, because sometimes that's how we become, when we write and we read it and we're just like, oh, I'm actually improving on this. I have actually, become more aware or more conscious about things.
and
Um,
especially when you write things down, and then you go back and reread them, like a few, I don't know, a few weeks later or a few months later, you're like, okay, yeah, I've made a
yeah,
lot of progress.
yeah, yeah. So,
And I think that's a great example about embracing our shadows. I go back to that embracing thing
yeah.
because I don't necessarily see it as bad.
No, me neither. I think it's part of being human and things that I still need to work on, and that's okay. I'm working
Exactly.
on them. And that's the most important thing, that I'm working on them and that I am making them aware and that I am making an effort to change them.
Exactly. Change what you don't like
Mhm.
or improve them, and improve what you do like too. That's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks so much for sharing, Angeles.
Thank you. Thank you for today's interview.
Thanks for today's therapy session.
Yes, live therapy session. But yes, thank you. Thank you for
Right.
always being there too. And for always also, like, sometimes I do want to confess, sometimes I do share my documents with Aida so she can tell me if I'm being real or not, if I'm fooling myself or not. Um
Oh, I feel grateful for and honored. Yeah, that for you opening up yourself to me in like that. And yeah, sometimes I don't have the answer, but I might ask a few questions that might give you more homework, but
like this last
I know.
light on that shadow. But yeah, I love it. Thank you.
No, so thank you. And thank you guys for listening and tuning in and for commenting. And
Yeah,
we'd like to remind you to, what is it? Like, subscribe, click all the buttons and all that stuff. And if you like this episode and any other episode, if you please help us by sharing, that would be awesome. Because perhaps there's something and or words that might, you know, help someone else in any other way.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Angeles. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Thanks. Adios.